to Buggalugs blog episode 1. My name is Isabel, or Izzy, and yeah, this is the first proper episode. Finally got off the procrastination train, and really, happy to be putting it out there and finally doing the thing that I've been talking about doing for such a long time. In this episode, going to take you through some projects that I actually was in progress of doing in February. So if that gives you any indication of the procrastination station, welcome to my brain. So yes, that next section is filmed in February. Those projects are long completed, and oh, that's Romy, who's Alpha baby. Also have been getting around weaving on a loom, which was lent to me by a dear friend Judith Mitchell. You can find her as Devoted Luddite on socials, and she also does a vlog on YouTube, and she very graciously lent my partner Winnie and I a little loom, and she said, hold on to it for as long as you need, and I still haven't given it back, and it's been 5 months. So there's that. In the out and about section of the episode, Winnie and I went to the Coburg Yarn and Craft Market and had a little toddle around and got some lovely things and talked to some fantastic, clever, knowledgeable people about what they do in the realm of textiles down here. Yeah, hope you enjoy. I've been making a jumper for my friend Liz, using the Giorgi Locatelli, I think, basic raglan jumper pattern. And it's just like this big sailor jumper, basically. So my mum made a raglan jumper, I think from the same pattern or a very similar pattern, for my brother when we first arrived in Australia from Hong Kong, and I nicked it because it was cute, and over time, wear little holes. So that was in 2005, so that's almost 10 years ago, almost 20 years ago, and yeah, I wanted to do some of the visible mending, and would darn it with different earthy kind of tones of yarn, and where the holes would pop up, and so it was feeling very personalized. And then recently with moving house, I cannot find it anywhere, and so I think I may need to make myself a new one. But it's been good making this one for my friend Liz. So we did a creative trade. She did some photography for me for my music. This much of the sleeve to finish, so soon enough, in the middle of summer, Liz is going to have her lovely raglan jumper. It's got a really nice particular speckle to it, with reds and greens and oranges, which is more than the original jumper that my mum made had, which was actually using Joe Sharp Silk Road Aran tweed with this lovely fleck. The yarn that I am using for Liz's jumper is, I actually don't know what it is. I think it's a wool blend from a yarn store in Rosanna. It was just in this lovely big bag, and I was like, that's the one, but there weren't any labels in there, so I don't know exactly what it is, and I don't know what the brand is or whatever, if there is a brand, yeah. But another project that I have been coming back to here and there and need to finish off before the cold months set in again is this pair of fingerless gloves for my mum. They're very cute. It's using one of my favourite yarns to do socks and gloves in, which is the Schoppel Crazy Sour Ball. I just love the colours. Because it's sock yarn, obviously they're a little bit hardier, they weren't felt. My mum has slightly shorter hands than me, so she'll get a bit more coverage in the cuff. But yeah, they're super cute. I did I think it's a braided cable, which looks very pretty and impressive. Another thing that I've been doing, I had a crack at weaving on a loom, on a rigid heddle loom. My mum's friend Judith, who taught me how to knit, she saw that I'd made a little bag for a kid that I nanny for Christmas, and she was like, oh, you've been bitten by the bug, maybe I can like lend you a rigid heddle loom. And that's exactly what happened. And she set us up with this loom and spent a whole night figuring out how on earth to do the warp, and it was so much more finicky than I anticipated, and it made me really appreciate how with crochet and knitting, just sit down on a couch and you can figure it out. But keen to really get rolling on doing some weaving as well. There's just so many things to do, not enough time.
While you're going places, I'm going to the shops, but I'm following a path that never...
We're here at the Coburg City Hall on Bell Street, and we are going to be going into the Coburg Yarn and Craft Market, which is an annual event, and I'm super excited in case you couldn't tell, but come with me.
Working for $1 gets you by, but the more you've got, the more you've got to try. Like the lion in his cage, you worries high. 'Cause if they set you free, you would just lie down and die.
Who you are and who you're here with.
Yeah, sure. I'm Phoebe, and I'm currently serving as president of the Handweavers and Spinners Guild of Victoria. And we're here today to tell people about the guild and, you know, what's on, and classes particularly that are coming up. Yeah.
Can you tell me about the guild?
Sure. So we actually turned 70 this year. The guild was founded in 1954. Our purpose is to bring together people who are interested in fibre crafts and provide them with resources and equipment that they need. So we have equipment that we sell as well as classes. Our library is extremely extensive and full of books on all kinds of textile crafts. And we're always keen to teach new people to spin or to connect people who might have, you know, used to spin or weave but have fallen out of it. It's great to see them back again, and it's a network for people who love fibre crafts.
How many members would you say the Spinners and Weavers Guild has these days?
At the moment, I think we have about 750 members at the moment, which is actually a lot less than we had in our sort of heyday in the 70s.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's a really good membership, and they're from all over Victoria. It's lovely to connect with people from all kinds of places.
And can you tell me about your own personal journey into the Spinners and Weavers Guild and your own craft and fibre textiles journey?
Of course. I always loved textiles and been fascinated by them. I loved fairy tales about spinning and weaving as a child, and always wanted to learn. I've always been a seamstress and sewn a lot of my own clothes and things, and done a lot of knitting, but I hadn't really had access to the equipment that I needed to learn to spin and weave for a long time. And so as soon as I did, I got very excited and taught myself to spin, and learnt to weave at the guild when I discovered that the guild was offering classes. I really am just fascinated by all stages of textile production, and I'm particularly interested in sustainable textiles, and the way that we can make our own clothes locally.
Totally.
And I'm also really passionate about textile crafts as a medium for people with disabilities. I have some chronic illnesses, and if I hadn't been prevented from working, I wouldn't have been able to spend as much time learning to spin and weave. And so I'm really keen to give people who might be stuck at home or have less capacity the chance to be creative.
Totally.
Yeah, you can take it at your own pace.
Yeah.
And it's such a sense of achievement, even if you're stuck at home or in bed, you can still make something beautiful.
Absolutely.
Ronelle from Cloverleaf Corriedale Studs. Yes, is that right? Stud or studs?
Yeah, Cloverleaf Corriedale Stud.
Lovely. And yes, tell us about who you are, who all your wolves are.
Oh, thank you. Yes, so we have a Corriedale Stud that is just out past Gisborne. So the Corriedale is historically a cross between a Merino and an English breed called English Leicester or a Lincoln. So it's to give a medium fleece. So it's about between 26 to up to 30 micron. I've forgotten your question now.
It's okay. It was just hello.
Hello.
You were telling me before that Corriedale as a fibre is maybe one that's a little less familiar to hand knitters. Can you tell me more about that?
I think for spinners, hand spinners, Corriedale is like your basic black. There's no surprises, it's bold, it's honest, it's great for beginner spinners. But there's not a lot of Corriedale yarns, which I think is quite interesting.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of merino, you've got the amazing Polworth and Finn sheep, but then trying to link in with your Corriedale yarn, because it's a stronger fibre, it's not that what they call squishy, it's that sort of, it's a robust yarn. So I've been talking to people who actually knit, and I was saying you think back over in England, they had the stronger fibres, so your Shetland wools that are in your 30s, and it's that, I guess, the bridge between your old English fibres and your merino. So it's your heirloom pieces, your outerwears, your jumpers, because the fleece, the yarns are quite strong compared to merino. You get your cables that are really pop out, and you get very good stitch definition and things.
So good for cable work.
Yeah,
cool.
so that is sort of the forte of those stronger fibres. Which I guess where your Shetlands and things came from, but it's a bit softer than Shetland, but still that sort of robust. You can, depending on how you knit, you won't get that pilling that you get with your softer fibres.
So, can you tell us about how you got into this business? Were you raised in it, or?
My word, so good question. So I was working over in Papua New Guinea, and we'd moved down to Melbourne for work. So I grew up in far north Queensland.
True.
And we can't even spell sheep up there, honestly. There's not a sheep to behold.
Be a bit warm for them, maybe.
Yeah, so we bought a property just outside of Melbourne near Gisborne, and we said, right, well, we have 100 acres. What does one do with 100 acres? So looking around, and I decided to look at sheep, just because there was a lot of information. Looked at the Corriedale just because of their easy care, learner friendly as a first generation farmer.
Yeah.
And then it went from there. So like, okay, we have sheep. What do we do with sheep? Well, we look at their fibre. Right, well, what do we do with their fibre? Because in Queensland, everyone hates wool. It's so itchy and disgusting. Like, don't give me wool. Don't even go there. And I guess because I am so itch averse after having to wear a wool jumper in Queensland now and again, I found the bloodlines that worked for me that didn't have the itch, so it's a stronger fibre but without that real itch factor. So that's what I've been focusing on with the bloodlines. So yes.
Oh yes. Do we have customers? Oh no. You're all right. Okay, all good. Can you tell us about your flock at the moment? Are there any certain personalities?
The woolly kids.
The woolly kids.
The woolly kids. Yeah, I'm not a real farmer. Yeah, look, I love my sheepies. Like, yeah, some of them love cuddles, some of them are really friendly, some of them are a bit standoffish. Yeah, they're just a great group. So I see them as, I guess, part of the holistic view. So they're on the property to support me, and I'm on the property to support them. So any sales then goes back into their care, and to me it's more of a synergy. So, you know, they wouldn't be coping out in the wild, and so yeah,
It's a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah, and like I keep the lambs with their mums, like especially the girls, like they all just troop around together. And you can see they've got the matriarch, and they've got the little family groups, the little buddies that they buddy up with, and so you never want to separate the buddies from each other. And yeah,
Keep the family together.
That's it.
Cute.
They're lovely.
Beautiful.
Some of them are a bit rough. Some of the boys are a bit, it's like rough heads. They are rough heads, I'll be honest. They're boys. You know, you get some kids that are just...
Yes.
Yeah, some of the boys are just...
They rough and tumble with each other?
They do.
Oh my gosh.
It's a bit intimidating sometimes.
That's really funny. I love, like...
But some of them are smooches, so you just got to read...
Different personalities.
Read the room.
Yeah. Interesting. And this is your first time at the Coburg Yarn and Craft Market?
It is. So I've had some yarn produced from the flock, and I've been looking at colourways and talking to people and doing little focus groups, which is basically my friends. And like I'm really inspired by the Marie Wallen of the world of having those colour work. So just with your Corriedale having that robust kind of knit, looking at how can we look at colour work and colourways, and I guess that's the way I'd like to go. But it's just trying to build that awareness of how it knits and what it will knit. So that'll be a work in progress.
How exciting. Well, thank you so much, and hope you have a beautiful rest of your market weekend.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, lovely.
And we have now returned back to a homely environment from the Coburg Yarn and Craft Market, and I have a stash that I got. It's always a bit of an event, and I like to have, you know, a bit set aside so that I can get some lovelies. So I'll take you on a little tour. This is a skein of 8-ply Polworth yarn, and the colour is natural. So Belinda from Windara Black Sheep was telling me that, well, Tom from Townman Court was telling me that while Polworth sheep are quite rare, black Polworth sheep are really quite rare. So it feels really nice to have gotten one of these, and I'm excited to see what I'll turn it into at some point. It's got this lovely kind of very dark brown natural colour, so lovely and squishy as Polworth yarn is. And then I also went to Townman Court, and bought this lovely plump pastel-y skein for Winnie. Winnie's over there giving me faces. But yes, very excited to see what they turn that into. I also went and chatted to Walter Yarn. Alistair Chu has these beautiful alpaca tops, and I've spun with them before, but he had these lovely pastel colours this year, so I got a couple of those. Excited to spin them up. This little nose that you can see in the corner here is Jed, who's a Scotty Cross Cairn Terrier that we are friends with, and he's very inquisitive about it. I also bought this wheat pillow because it's getting cold. It's getting cold here, and so this one, it reminds me of this character from a kids TV show that was a hot water bottle, and so it's cute that it's, hi Jed, it's a hot water bottle but a wheat pillow. So I liked that, and because, you know, we've got to keep our toes warm. And the pièce de résistance, I got a lovely bag of fleece, Corriedale from lovely Ronelle, and she had a story about this fleece that it was a bit cheaper. It was only $15 for the whole bag because the sheep who it's from actually had a stressful pregnancy, and so there is wool break, which I hadn't heard about before. But yeah, pretty much from the stress of the pregnancy, her wool, yeah, I guess her fleece broke, or maybe it started falling out, and so it's a little bit cheaper than it normally would be, because I'm not sure, maybe there's a little bit less yarn, less fleece, but it's got this lovely dark color, like this kind of brown, like dark brown and light brown into yellow. and I thought that was really pretty. Very excited to try spinning with that and apply all of the kind of thoughts and bits of advice that Ronelle had to give about how to spin and knit with Corriedale. So yeah, very excited. All in all, a very good day. And thank you so much for watching to the end. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back sometime soon with more shenanigans. I love my baby. Love them so. I love sitting with them on a Saturday morning. Sometimes we turn